Said Friday, your Monday hostess, Natalie. And this week we are covering offerings to your deity and deity care. Last week we talked about connecting with your deities, and this might kind of cross over a little bit with that. As you can see today, I have on my little headdress I got, my little chainmail headdress I got at the Ren Fair. It goes kind of cute with my outfit. It's a little hippie looking kind of outfit, but anyway, I thought it'd be fun to wear, so I'm wearing it. Anyhow, today we're going to talk about specifically how to care for your deities. Once you've made a connection with the deity, what kinds of things do you offer to your deity? How often do you offer things to your deity? What sorts of things would that include, and what does that look like? So I'm going to share a little bit about what I share and what I do, and we'll open it up for comments below. Now, as you know from my previous video last week, I work with both the Morrigan and Cernunnos. Those are my god and goddess. Yes. So I want to make sure I put that in the right order. Anyway, primarily the Morrigan. I work with her more than I do Cernunnos, but there are times when I'm called to, or I need a masculine energy, of feeling a masculine energy, or a father type figure, and so I will go to Cernunnos for those kinds of things. And there are certain things that are related to maybe certain issues that I think a man's perspective is going to be more beneficial to what I need at the time. That being said, I am a daughter of the Morrigan, and she is my primary deity that I work with. So what kinds of things do I offer for her? First off, I have an offering dish that sits on her altar, and that's her altar right back there. Cernunnos is right there. Oh my God, that's her, that's him. So I will leave certain things. Sometimes I use certain oils that I will blend, and I will use herbs that are sacred to her or known to associate with her. There are often times when I will just feel called to put something there on the altar for her, including crystals. So, for example, I might see a crystal that I think calls to me about her. A red jasper, often. Jet is something that I associate with her, although I don't know if it actually has an official association with her. It is something that I rather associate with her because of the dark color and the fact that jet was used with funerary rites back in the days. And I actually have a headdress from a family member that was worn at their funeral ceremony, but it was taken off before the body was buried, and it was jet all the way across the hat. And so I have the jet beads from that. They removed the jet beads from the hat before they buried my family member. It was like a great-great-grandmother or something like that. And so I have those jet beads, and those I will often offer as an offering to her. Now, it's a little bit different than when I'm charging crystals, because I don't put them in the same place on the altar. When it comes to things like that, this is used primarily for food and liquid type of offerings, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. And then I have like a plate that I use. It's actually what it is it's a cone incense burner that Sterling made for me. So I use that to offer other things. Some of the other things that I have offered to the Morrigan go in the way of libations, so drinks. Most commonly, this is the offering that I give her. This is Morrigan whiskey, comes from Ireland. It's not a bad whiskey. I took a little taste of it just to see, because I've actually given up alcohol altogether. I don't drink at all. I used to enjoy my wine, but I gave it up all the way. But I still use it in cooking, and I do use this for her offerings. So I saw it and I said, you know what? That's like the perfect thing for her. It's got her image, it's got her name. What more honor could I give her than to give her that? And when I do that, I'll always pour it in the dish and I leave it. And when the dish is empty, I will add more. Usually it's about once a week, once every week and a half. I'll need to offer more to her. Now, there are times when I'm called to goo. Okay, I'm sorry. It's been one of those weeks. My daughter moved from one neighboring city to another, and it was a nightmare, and we're still not done with the nightmare. So I'm having to head out in just a bit and go help her out with that some more, and it's been one of those weeks when I've been giving a lot of offerings because I've needed a lot of strength. So what I was getting to is that there are certain times when I am in need of something specific, whether it be strength, whether it be guidance in some way. And so in that case, I will tailor my offerings to what I need. So for example, and I know that this is a controversial kind of thing, but I'm going to state it right here and right now. I am from Texas and I have guns. I love my guns. I like going to the range. It is a great stress relief for me. And you know, it's good to keep up. I take pride in my marksmanship. It's a skill. Okay. It's like archery, but with a different type of weapon. I was also a fencer, so I take great pride in my sword fighting skills as well. So, you know, I actually fenced competitively in college. So I will use bullets as an offering for her, especially if it's something that I am needing in terms of I need firepower from her. Then I'm calling on her battle aspect and I'm saying, you know, please give me strength to fight this battle. I need firepower. I need oomph. And it just happens to be a 45 caliber hollow point that actually doesn't go to any of the guns that, you know, my husband bought the wrong ammo and you can't return it. So it makes a great offering. It was almost fortuitous. So I will also use these like on a crystal grid when I'm wanting to draw in the firepower. So I will offer things like that to her and say, you know, what this is an offering that's commensurate with what I'm needing from you. You know, can you give me the strength and the firepower that I need to get through this situation or to power through this situation or to put an end to this situation? I'm going into battle. So anything that's related to any type of war, when I'm in that type of mode, I will offer it to her. So ammo, I will make small bows and, well, not bows, but small arrows, and I will use those. I make them out of toothpicks and I will offer them to her. When the offering is done, I usually bury those outside. The bullets, I just stick back in the box and I mark them so I don't reuse them. You know, when they're done, I don't know what I'll do with them. I'm probably going to have to find an ammo disposal place or somebody who wants to, um, you know, buy it back or something like that. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They'll probably just sit in my safe forever and ever and ever because everything's kept in a locked safe. So, but usually what I offer is food and drinks. So I will offer her whiskey. That's the most common one, and she seems to like that quite a bit. So that's the one. I will also offer oils. Like this is a death oil that I made. And actually, this particular one is charging on our altar because I'm using it in spellcraft. But I will make oils and I will offer those. Now, those I do not put into the food bowl. I have a separate bowl for oil offerings. And again, I'll clean out the bowl when the offering is dispensed. I will go ahead and do that. I also offer incense, and that is one that I also offer to Cernunnos. My offerings for the Morrigan and for Cernunnos are often different because they're different deities. They have different energies, they have different things. So I will offer like cologne, men's cologne. I'll put a few drops of that. I will offer incense. I will often offer the fruits from trees that are considered masculine, like acorns from my oak tree. And I keep acorns on my altar for him anyway. But when I'm keeping things on the altar as a decoration versus an offering, again, it goes into an offering bowl. And I will bring that forward. Bread, things like that, I will offer to him as well. I will sometimes make cookies or biscuits, things that I know my husband likes, because my husband being masculine, of course, I will offer those things forward to Cernunnos and an offering and say, you know, this has been found pleasing. Please accept this offering and bring me, you know, whatever it is that I need. Wisdom, strength, logical thinking, because I'm not a logical thinker. Men tend to be a little more logical thinking than, you know, women tend to be more abstract thinking. It's just the way we are. So if I'm needing a logic for a situation or I'm needing to find a solution to a problem that I can't creatively come up with one, I will often offer things like, you know, bread and foods, maybe beer instead of whiskey, you know, or a different type of whiskey, actually. Tito's whiskey I've offered to Cernunnos, and he seems to like it. But I will offer some other type of Irish whiskey, usually Bailey's, or I'll put Guinness. Guinness is something that I use for Cernunnos quite often, being that he's a Celtic god and Guinness is an Irish beer. I used to love it. Yeah, but I have found that to be a pleasing offering. So really what I would say to you is get to know your deities. Know something about their mannerisms and their characteristics in their aspects, especially if it's a triple god like Cernunnos or a triple goddess like the Morrigan. Know all of the aspects, the inseminator, the father, and the sage. the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Know the different aspects of your deity. Get to know your deity really well through connecting with them, and find things that appeal to you. If you have a flash inside of, that might make a good offering, there's probably a reason for that. So I would listen to it. I would go ahead and pick that up and take it, run with it. One of the things that I did do is I use a seashell. As I've mentioned in the previous video, I associate seashells with the Morrigan because she is from Ireland, which is an island, and so it's surrounded by the ocean. And I had given some offering in there, and it congealed into the shell. So I leave that on the altar just as it is. I didn't try to clean it out or anything. But I would say get to know your deities. Get to know things that are associated with them, whether it be crystals or just aspects of their personalities. See what comes to you and what calls to you. And those are the things that you would want to offer. Like I said, I change my offerings based on what I'm looking for and what I'm needing, what I'm petitioning for. So what I feel I need from that deity, I will offer back to them in some way and see if they can't give me something in return to help me through what I need, because I do believe that they are there to help us. I don't think that they're there to tell us no, unless it's something that just isn't meant to be. So when you are giving offerings, be consistent with what you're wanting, be consistent with what you offer in terms of how often you do it. I believe in doing something pretty regularly because it's a sign of respect for me. So like I said, every week, week and a half, I will change it out. I always make some sort of daily thanks, but an actual full offering, and especially with food, you have to be careful because it does go bad. So when it comes to food, disposing of offerings, usually the whiskey, I don't have to worry about. It dissipates out of the dish. So I don't have to worry about that. But when it comes to food and the oils, sometimes the oils dissipate, but there may be some residue. I just clean it out. When it comes to food, I will usually bury it outside, and I bury it on my property, or I will dispose of it in a body of running water. So it's a natural biological material. It's going to break down. It's not going to be anything that's harmful. So if it is something like I said, the bullets, I'm not just going to go bury that outside because I wouldn't want somebody to stumble across it. I'm not just going to throw it away, and certainly can't burn it. So it's one of those things that's separate. So I just sort of keep it put aside, and eventually I'll have to find someone to dispose of it. So anyway, I know that this video has been short and a little disjointed, and I'm not going to apologize just because that's the way it is sometimes, but I understand if it's probably not your favorite video this season. I do hope that it has been helpful to you and that in some way you gained some knowledge out of it or some ideas of your own, and I'd love to see your ideas in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we do appreciate it. Have a great week. And for all the mothers, happy belated Mother's Day. Bless you.